Bonjour, Monsieur le Président, mon cher ami. I'm delighted to be with you here again and to thank you for the graciousness that you always bring us together on these challenging times. Today, on the anniversary of a fateful day that saw the loss of over 200 precious lives in the Beirut port tragedy. 1 year on, as you have outlined, the devastation and the heartbreak that the blast left in its wake continues. The explosion had a severe impact on an already dire economic and humanitarian situation in Lebanon that does demand global attention and support. So I wanted to thank you, Monsieur le Président, and my dear friend, the Secretary General, ably supported today by the Deputy, in continuing to commit to galvanize international efforts to come to the aid of the Lebanese people in their time of need. The crisis in Lebanon continues to deepen every day, as we see. Families are struggling to put food on the table, to buy desperately needed medication, to treat a sick child, or to look after an elderly parent. We know that access to food, electricity, and water, the very basic of humanitarian needs, is becoming a daily challenge. So, my friends, without properly coordinated international action, the crisis in Lebanon could spill beyond the country's borders, reverberating across the region and well beyond it. The support we provide must meet actual needs on the ground for the immediate and long terms, while avoiding overlap of effectively distributing roles. Coordination will enable us to utilize regional capacities to ensure immediate action and a faster response to the crisis as they arise. And we cannot afford to sit back and leave Lebanon and its people edge ever closer to the brink. And we must continue our ongoing efforts in providing humanitarian and medical aid amid the COVID-19 pandemic and increasing food insecurity. And we must not forget ways to look at being how Lebanon can become a sustainable path of reform, recovery, and progress. And we must also remember that Lebanon's vulnerable population includes thousands of refugees and migrant families who are now living in extreme poverty. Monsieur le Président, you pointed out the importance of the state institutions. And here, again, I would like to reiterate your input on what I think is the stability of the institution of the armed forces and security services that will be able to provide what is needed for the Lebanese people during these difficult times. We, as a recipient of challenges in all our country, realize that the secret, I think, of what you're trying to do, Monsieur le Président, is to bring people together in countries to provide not what they want to provide, but what the actual Lebanese people need. And so, looking at the template of the requirement for the Lebanese armed forces, I think, is actually the pyramid of responses that we need to do for the Lebanese people. I hope, sir, that today, bringing many of our friends around the table and many of my colleagues that I'm delighted to see, is a message to the Lebanese people that we do believe in their resilience and resourcefulness, and we admire the strength of the Lebanese people. Our message today is the Lebanese people are in our hearts, they are in our thoughts, and we will be with you through these difficult times. Monsieur le Président, as always, merci, thank you so much for bringing us together.